Once there was a boy named Daniel. He lived in a sunny, happy place called Jerusalem. But one day, some big, scary soldiers came. They were from a faraway land called Babylon. The king of Babylon, whose name was Nebuchadnezzar, was very powerful. He took all the strongest and smartest young men from Daniel's home and marched them far, far away. Daniel and his friends had to leave everything they knew behind. Their homes, their families, their whole world. It was a long, dusty walk to a strange new city. A city with giant walls and tall buildings that seemed to touch the sky. Now this new city was very different. The people there didn't love God. They bowed down to big statues made of gold and stone. The king wanted Daniel and his friends to forget all about their home and their God. He gave them new names. He gave them new clothes. He even gave them new food to eat, rich, fancy food from his own royal table. But there was a problem, a big one. God had given Daniel's people special rules about what to eat, and the king's food was not on the list. It was food that was offered to pretend gods. Daniel knew what he had to do. He had to obey God, no matter what.
Please, Daniel said, his voice quiet but brave, don't make us eat the king's special food.
Just give us vegetables to eat and water to drink.
But the king will be angry if you look weak and skinny.
Daniel had a plan, a God plan. He knew God would help him. He always did. Just try it, Daniel said with a smile. Test us for 10 days. Give us only vegetables and water. Then look at us and look at the other young men who eat the king's food. See who looks healthier. The helper thought about it. It was a risky idea, but Daniel seemed so sure, so he agreed. For 10 whole days, Daniel and his friends ate simple vegetables and drank plain water, while everyone else feasted on the king's fancy meals. They prayed to God and trusted him to take care of them. They knew that following God was more important than anything, even a king's feast. One night, the mighty King Nebuchadnezzar had a dream. It wasn't a nice dream about puppies or sunshine. No, this was a scary, mixed-up, terrifying dream. It shook him up so much that he woke up in a cold sweat, his heart pounding like a drum. The dream was so powerful, so strange that he knew it meant something important. But when he tried to remember it, poof, it was gone. He felt like he had a secret locked in his head, but he had lost the key. The king was very upset. He called for all his wise men, his magicians, his stargazers, his soothsayers. They all came rushing into the throne room, bowing low.
I had a dream. Tell me what I dreamed and then tell me what it means.
O king, just tell us the dream and we will gladly tell you what it means.
No, you must tell me the dream first. If you can't, you are all fakes.
No one on earth can do what you ask, O king. Only the gods can do that, and they don't live down here with us.
This made the king even angrier. He shouted and stomped his feet. He made a terrible new rule. All the wise men in Babylon were to be captured and put to death. And because Daniel and his friends were known for being very wise, the king's soldiers came for them too. Daniel had done nothing wrong, but now his life was in danger because of a forgotten dream. But Daniel didn't panic. He knew who held all the secrets of the world.
Why is the king so angry? Give me a little time and I will tell you your dream and what it means.
Then Daniel rushed home to his friends.
We have to pray.
They got on their knees and asked the God of heaven, the only one who knows everything, to please, please, please show them the secret dream and save their lives. Many years went by. King Nebuchadnezzar was gone. Now there was a new king named Darius. King Darius liked Daniel very much. He could see that Daniel was wise. Daniel was honest. He did his work better than anyone else. Daniel wasn't just smart. He had a special spirit, a spirit of excellence. The king trusted Daniel so much that he decided to put him in charge of the whole kingdom. Daniel would be the most important person next to the king himself. This was a huge honor, a reward for Daniel's faithfulness in a strange land. But not everyone was happy for Daniel. The other leaders and governors were very, very jealous. They whispered to each other in shadowy corners. "Why does the king like Daniel so much?" they grumbled. "He's not even from here." They watched Daniel like hawks trying to find something he did wrong. They checked his work. They looked at his records. They tried to catch him cheating. They tried to catch him lying, but they couldn't find a single mistake. Daniel was honest. He was fair. He never broke any of the king's rules. The jealous men were getting desperate. They huddled together and hatched a wicked, sneaky plan.
"We will never find anything wrong with Daniel's work," one hissed. "The only way to trap him is to use his God against him."
They knew Daniel prayed to his God every single day, no matter what.
"O great King Darius, live forever.
"We have all agreed that you should make a new law, a very special law just for you." The king, who liked being flattered, leaned in to listen.
The law should say, the wicked men said, that for the next 30 days, no one in the whole kingdom is allowed to pray to any god.
"No one may pray to any person except for you, O magnificent king. And if anyone breaks this law, they must be thrown into the den of lions." King Darius thought this was a wonderful idea. It made him feel very important. He didn't realize it was a trap for his best and most faithful servant. So he signed the law.
Once a king's law was signed, it could never ever be changed.
So Daniel heard about the new law. You know, the law that said he couldn't pray to God. The law that said if he did, he would be thrown to hungry lions. Did Daniel hide? Did he stop praying? Did he pretend to pray to King Darius? No, he didn't. Daniel knew that God was the real king, the king over all other kings, and he knew that talking to God was more important than breathing. So Daniel went home. He went to his room upstairs just like he always did. He opened his windows that faced toward his faraway home, Jerusalem, and he got down on his knees. Every morning, every noon, every evening, he talked to God. He thanked God for his goodness. He asked God for help. He wasn't hiding. He wasn't afraid. He knew the jealous men were probably watching. He knew what would happen, but his love for God was bigger than his fear of lions. And sure enough, the wicked men were spying on him. They peeked through the windows and saw everything. They ran back to the king as fast as their legs could carry them.
King Darius, did you not sign a law that no one could pray to anyone but you?
Yes, that law cannot be changed.
The men grinned their evil grins. "Well, that man Daniel, one of the captives from Judah, is not obeying you. He is still praying to his God 3 times a day." When the king heard this, his heart sank. He knew he had been tricked. He had walked right into their trap. Now his friend Daniel was caught in it. But there was just no way out. The law was the law. As the sun began to set, the king had to give the terrible order. His own soldiers brought Daniel to the edge of a deep, dark pit. Inside, hungry lions were pacing back and forth, their growls echoing in the darkness.
May your God, whom you serve so faithfully, rescue you.
Then, with a heavy heart, he watched as they threw Daniel into the den of lions. They rolled a giant stone over the mouth of the lion's den, so there was no way out. The king sealed it with his own special ring. It was finished. That whole night, the king couldn't sleep. He couldn't eat. He didn't want any music or entertainment. He just tossed and turned in his bed, thinking about his friend Daniel down in that dark pit with the hungry beasts. He hoped and worried and worried and hoped. Was Daniel's God powerful enough to save him from the teeth and claws of those lions? The king had never felt so sad and helpless in his entire life. As soon as the sun began to peek over the horizon, the king jumped out of bed. He didn't even wait to get properly dressed. He rushed out to the lion's den, his heart pounding in his chest.
Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God, whom you serve all the time, been able to rescue you from the lions?
He was afraid of what he would hear, or what he wouldn't hear. It was the longest, quietest moment of the king's life. And then, a voice. It came from inside the den.
"O king, live forever. My God sent his angel and he shut the lions' mouths. They have not hurt me at all because I was found innocent in his sight, and I have never done anything wrong to you, O king."
He commanded his servants to pull Daniel out of the den at once. They lifted him up. He didn't have a single scratch on him, not one. The king was now filled with a different kind of feeling, anger. He was furious at the wicked men who had tricked him. He made a new order. The men who had accused Daniel, along with their families, were thrown into the very same lion's den. But God did not send an angel for them.
Everyone must fear and respect the God of Daniel.
For he is the living God. He rescues, he saves, he performs signs and wonders. He rescued Daniel from the power of the lions. And because Daniel trusted God, a whole kingdom learned that his God was the one true and living king over everything.